Hey, everybody. Good evening. Sandra Sheffred, host of Racing the Races. I haven't been on for a little bit, right? Because we were doing some other things. We spent the better part of the month of July doing some town halls because of some a decision that had came out of the courts in June that was taking away TPS, and it had everybody in a frantic. So I pretty much spent the month of July along with Christine Sanonjul and Dr. Naomi Blamure, and we were doing like some town halls throughout Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. We started in Dade, did the bulk of the work in Broward County, and we did one in Belglade and Palm Beach County too. We have some upcoming dates. We'll talk more about that on the Thursday show. But, it's been a minute, y'all, and it's been a lot going on. So much has happened. But I'm going to start trying to remind y'all to go ahead and like the page on Facebook, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And we're also on, I think, what is this, Instagram and TikTok. So I'm not big on social media like that, but definitely want to, increase the viewership, increase the subscription, because there's a lot of information that needs to get out there. We want you to share, and put the information out there, particularly the town hall videos that talks about how important it is for people to seek counsel, to find ways to, if they can adjust their status, legalize their status, change their status to a way that makes them lawful in the United States. It's something that they really need to do. That's such an important message that's why I'm like telling people, just subscribe to the page to the channel on YouTube, mainly for that, particularly for the TPS and the town hall content, because there's a lot of information in there. Interestingly enough, we have that information in both English and Creole. We have about 3 the town hall videos, maybe a little bit more, that are strictly in the Creole language for Creole speakers. And Christine Sanonjul, who's the community advocate, that was the brainchild of all of this. She's looking to do some Spanish language content also. So yeah, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the page in order for us to get this information out there, because what we're seeing right now with the enforcement, with the immigrant arresting folks and picking people up, increasing bed space to detain immigrants, that's not gonna get better. They're not going to reduce the space. They're actually ramping up, creating more bed space, and basically forcing the hand of so many folks who find themselves detained, and getting them to just take orders and leave and not even want to fight their case, with the threats of, being moved to places all across the country, being moved to very strict detention facilities. And they're like, yes, and even if you win your case and we can't send you back to where you're from, we can send you somewhere else that you're not from, because they're making arrangements with, other nations for whatever reason to agree to take back nationals that they themselves, when I say they themselves, the government here can't send back. So in terms of, with regards to the immigration space, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And when I tell you, when I try to imagine how much worse it can get, it's mind-boggling. But believe it or not, it actually can, because just from one month to the next, things that we were able to do, we, meaning practitioners, was able to do, you can't do them anymore. It's really getting tough out there, right? So I didn't intend to start off talking about the immigration situation, but I'm telling you, it's very serious. And again, we want people to go ahead, tell your friends to subscribe to the page to the channel on YouTube, because there's a lot of good content on there that can provide information that'll be useful. And again, it's both in the English and Creole language, and we just want you to get that information out there, folks. If you're they use that word undocumented loosely. So almost anyone that's not a resident or a citizen of the United States is practically considered undocumented. That should not be the case, but that's the case. And even if you're a lawful permanent resident and you're traveling, you're exposing yourselves to being detained also. So please, when I tell you, folks out there, find a way, figure out how you can deal with your status. If you're a lawful permanent resident and you're eligible for citizenship, make sure you do it. I would say invest in consulting an attorney to make sure that you don't go jam yourself up even more. Make sure you do that. And the rules, if there ever were rules, so there were rules, right, that folks used to follow. However, and some of the rules were powerful, right? They had they carried a lot of weight, but the rules that were in place relied on people doing the right thing, having a conscience, and respecting the Constitution of the United States. Now, when you have someone who don't feel that way, don't follow the rules, don't respect folks, don't care about the Constitution or nothing, and you give them all that power, they use the rules in a way that's very harmful to people, right? And we're seeing that right now, because some of the provisions that were in place, we're like, okay, well, that's not bad. Yeah, if you got somebody that has no bottom and shameless, and they have access to the same type of rules, it becomes really problematic. So I say all that to say this: if you're a lawful permanent resident, you're eligible for citizenship, you need to go ahead and apply to become a citizen. But what more importantly, go consult with an attorney and let them properly advise you on what it is that you really can do. Now, there's a bunch of scammers in these streets. Be careful. Make sure the person that comes to you is highly recommended, and so you can take care of that, because there's a whole lot of scammers in the street, because there's a whole lot of desperate people in the street. And sometimes when people are acting out of desperation, they're not making sound decisions. So you need to be very careful. People need to be very careful that they don't get caught up, in dealing and talking to somebody that's not going to do what's best for them. But definitely get a consultation, because pretty much if you're not a resident or a citizen, you're considered undocumented, and they're going to find some kind of way to detain you or do something to you that's just going to make your life just a tad bit uncomfortable. And for some people, uncomfortable to the point where they're going to find themselves being sent back to their native country. Not that they may not be able to come back, but they're going to have to go there before they get anything right. Okay, so it was enough on that. So part of what I wanted to talk about today was just gerrymandering that's happening in Texas. Well, they're trying to do it in Texas, but the Texas Democrats were like, we're going to lead a state, because in order for y'all to do any of this, you need to have quorum for it to happen. And so they're trying to make it where there's no quorum, right? And of course, they're making it seem as that, these bad Democrats are doing this stuff. How could they? Republicans do the same thing too, and they do it worse. Matter of fact, when it was time for them to vote on those Epstein files, they was like, yeah, we just going to start our break early so we don't have to deal with it, right? So they run from, and in that instance, that it didn't even seem as though that was something they should have been running from. That's something that they should have actually done, because that would have benefited folks, and people needed to know, right? So, but what the Democrats are trying to do, they're like, listen, you are trying to do something to rig the game, right? You're trying to rig the game, and so we don't want to be a part of this. So we're going to step back, because we don't want to be a part of you rigging the game. And now all of a sudden they're being threatened with arrest and this and replacement and all of these things, because they don't want to participate in allowing these folks to rig the game, right? Now, again, I say that to say this. What blue states, California, New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, Illinois, y'all need to realize that the rules of engagement have changed. The playbook that y'all had is no longer at play. That playbook was thrown out the window. So it's thrown out the window. They ain't using it no more. You're the one that's trying. Those states are trying to maintain some level of moral compass and say, oh, no, we can't do that. Yes, you can do that. You absolutely need to do that. And that's what you need to do, right? Because imagine the rules that were in place were created anyway, right? It don't have to, the way the game was played, it didn't have to be played that way. That's how they made up the rules to play, right? So now you're dealing with folks who are like, no, we don't play by them rules no more. It's a new set of rules, right? So in order for you to really play the game, which you need to be a part of or participate, you got to play by these new rules. And these new rules say that it's okay to go gerrymander seats to create an advantage, right? So since they trying to secure some sort of victory, even I think even with the gerrymandering, they shouldn't win. But this man couldn't get his 11,890 votes or whatever it was out of Georgia, so he's like preparing himself because it was going to be a shellacking in 26, and he's like, well, no, I already know these people ain't happy with the way I'm running the country right now. So instead of waiting for me to find out what I already know to be true, let's go ahead and put our finger on the scale. Let's go ahead and rig the game early in order for this not to happen. And for that not to happen, he tells the Texas governor he needs 5 seats, right? And then so what the Texas governor do? Get the majority that's in Texas to go ahead and try to gerrymander the seats in order for this president to get the 5 seats that he needs, because he knew for sure he was going to lose in 26 because people were already mad the day after they realized that he had won the election in 24. Okay, so the rules of the games have changed. So California, New York, Illinois, Minnesota, New Jersey, do not wait to see what Texas gonna do. Do what y'all know y'all absolutely need to do, and that is go ahead and gerrymander them districts, because apparently that ain't the bad thing to do anymore, because that's just the thing to do. Because what we're hearing about Texas because Texas is fighting back. But that's absolutely what happened in North Carolina, and that's how those seats were picked up, because North Carolina was gerrymandered. They were in court for years over those maps. Some of it was found to be unconstitutional. They had to redo some race. But basically what happened in North Carolina was the map was gerrymandered to pick up seats, and for the Republicans to pick up seats, and they did. And that's how there's the close majority that's in the House of Representatives right now. And so Texas is trying to pick up 3, 4, 5, who knows what the number is, right? So understand that gerrymandering is the rule of the game right now. That's one of the rules that you need to be able to do to play this game. So those states, don't feel no way. Don't try to get no conscience. Don't act like, oh no, we're going to do things the right way. No, the right way is the way that the game is being played right now, and you need to play by these rules. So go ahead and gerrymander all them states, okay? Go ahead and gerrymander all these states, because we need to pump the brakes. No, come to a complete stop as to what we're seeing right now, because we're pretty much operating in a space where there are no co-equal branches of government, because the House of Representatives, the Congress has basically decided that whatever the executive branch of government wants to do, they're going to allow it to happen. The Supreme Court is bought and paid for, and they pretty much decided that they're going to manipulate the law and the decisions and narrow the issues to the point where the outcome that the executive branch of government want is going to take place. And that's not no cool equal branches of government. That is a straight up dictatorship. Okay. And we have networks, right? NPR gone, public broadcasting system gone. You got billionaires owning media, so they tell you basically what news you gonna hear, see how they gonna tell the story. So like what? And they all connected with the executive branch of government. So they pretty much, you can't, they get to control what information we have. We also have people getting fired because the executive branch of the government don't like how somebody talked about them. That is dictatorship, communism 101, right? Where they start controlling the media, controlling the information, right? They have academics of institutions of higher learning. Columbia University paying $200 million because they want to be on the bad side of the executive branch of government. You have Brown University agreeing to pay $50 million because they don't want to be on the bad side of the executive branch. You got Harvard University making certain concessions because they don't want to be on the bad side of education. You got the Smithsonian taking the truth out of the museum because he ain't like what was said. I think they said they were putting it back, but then now they got a review on how they're gonna tell that story. People pay attention to what's happening. It's worse than y'all really willing to admit, right? And one of the things that I'm gonna make this episode short because I think I done said a whole bunch of stuff. It's a lot, and I try not to. I ain't want to be too much of a downer episode, but it's like we really the alarm is sounded already. It's not about sound the alarm. No. The alarm is ringing. We in a three. I don't know what's I'm not a firefighter people, but whatever is the 5-alarm fire, whatever the highest alarm fire you could think of, that is where we are right now. This is rough. It is bad, and the idea that it can get worse is crazy. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was that, I was like, well, when I go into the grocery store, there's no black price for things in the store, right? It's just the price and it's too high for everybody, right? So all of these folks who decided that they hated immigrants and whatever, and they was like, no, I'm a single issue voter and I'm gonna vote for this. Y'all all feeling the consequences. When y'all go to the store, everything costs too much. And as a matter of fact, right before I came on, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, I don't want to go into the grocery store because I don't want to be mad at how much everything costs, right? That's happening to everybody, no matter where you're from, what you look like, or anything like that. So these folks who made this whatever crazy decision they decided to make in November of 24, we're all paying for it, right? And y'all need to face the truth about why it is y'all made that decision, right? Because ain't nowhere in the world, even if you disagree with some of the policies of the person on the other side, ain't nowhere in the world America will be where it's at right now if we had if Kamala Harris was the president. Now, she may not have done a lot of things that people don't like, but ain't nowhere in the world we be living like this, being the laughing stock, basically Congress not doing nothing, the Supreme Court not doing nothing. Every single decision is litigation, and the fact that he doesn't even trust the Congress to do whatever rules, laws, whatever he making, everything is done by executive order. What? Like, we wouldn't be here, y'all. We would not be here. But the reality is that we're here. So what are we going to do? We're in Florida. So one of the things that's happening in Florida is that they're dropping people off the voter roll, right? And when I say they dropping people off the voter roll, they're dropping black folks off the voter roll. They're dropping Hispanic folks off the voter roll, and they're mainly dropping Democrats off the voter roll and probably non-party affiliates, right? So what I need people to do is I need you to check your voter registration status. Make sure you're still registered to vote. You can go to your supervisor of election page in Broward County. Is Broward I think it's Broward Votes or something like that, .org or .gov. So Broward Votes, you can find it. But go to your supervisor of election page and check your status to make sure you're registered to vote. And if you're not, go ahead and register, and then tell everybody you know, tell all your friends. So this is my call to action. Tell all your friends, everybody you know, to go and check their voter registration status, and then go and make sure. And if they're not registered, make sure they register, and also tell 5 to 10 people that you know, or everybody you know. Just tell everybody. Go and call everybody. Tell everybody, listen, y'all need to go check your voter registration status and make sure that you're still registered to vote. Now, we also know that if you do vote by mail, every year, I think it's every year, you have to renew your request for vote by mail. So make sure to do that. So before you even request vote by mail, I need you all to make sure that you're registered to vote. Please, please, please go check that, because they're dropping people off the voter roll. And that's one of the things I'm going to continue to say, because we need all hands on deck for that to happen. And I need people to pay attention to who it is that they're voting for in this upcoming election, because all skin folk and kinfolk, all party affiliated people ain't really about the party. You really gotta you gotta vet these folks. You gotta vet these folks and make sure you're voting for the right people. And people should not be allowed to stay and maintain their seats just because they were there before, because clearly the people who are there now ain't doing a good job. I mean, there's a few of them, so I want to say nobody ain't doing no good job, but it's a whole bunch of them that's derelict in their responsibilities and they are not doing a good job, and there's no way they should be able to keep their jobs. So I say that to say, check your voter registration status, check to make sure you're still registered for vote by mail. If you want to, be the change you want to see, run for office. Go ahead and run for office. Okay, go ahead and run for office. You see, go ahead and run for office. If it's just something that you thought about, go ahead and run for office. Because at the very least, we need to make these people work for the positions that they're trying to maintain. Go ahead and run for office. I'm not going to run because I can't afford to run. I got other things I need to do right now. My ministry is a little bit different. I do the work in different ways. But, if you're thinking about it, go ahead and run for office, because we have to be the change that we want to see. Power is going to concede nothing without demand. So we're going to have to demand what it is that we need. Like, everything just costs too much, right? Like I said, ain't no black prices in the grocery store. When you go in there, everybody paying the same thing. So don't worry about not liking me. Worry about the fact that, dang, these potatoes and tomatoes and whatever snacks my kids want cost too much. And I need to do something about that. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about no brown people. Don't worry about nothing else. Worry about how the fact that you walking up in this store and you just spent $150 and you got 3 bags in your hand and y'all only going to be able to eat for the next 2 or 3 days. Think about that. Don't think about me. Okay. Think about how your pockets feel right now. Right. Because apparently this was about eggs at one point, and now everything costs too much. Everything, I used to be able to buy chargers at the gas station for $8. They were $22 the other day. So don't worry about how you feel about me. Pay attention to how your life feel right now, right? And if it makes you happy that I might be stressed out, then you need to go ahead and have a conversation with the Lord or somebody to figure out like why you okay with other people being miserable, right? Because you should just find joy in just you being alive and here and being able to do something with yourself, right? Your joy should not come at the expense of other people's misery and discomfort, all right? So I wanted to talk about that. I talked about all these folks. If you're not a resident or a citizen, you are basically considered undocumented at this point. You could have came here on a tourist visa if you wanted to, and you could be like, I'm leaving in 3 days. But if they get their hands on you, they're going to put you in a detention facility and make you take an order of removal. Can you imagine? Listen, I'm telling you, if you ain't no resident or you're a citizen, you consider undocumented. And if you're a resident that's traveling, when you're trying to come back, they're going to try to make you undocumented. So this immigration stuff is real. Y'all need to pay attention to that. Everybody, make sure you check your voter registration status. Make sure you check your voter registration status. Make sure, and if you want to do vote by mail, make sure you sign up for vote by mail again. And also, Victoria Olsen is saying, update important information. If you got a new driver's license, you will need to update your voter registration with your new driver's license or state ID. Or if the number does not match your registration, you won't be allowed to vote. All right, so I'm going to put that up. So you got to make sure if you got a new driver's license, because people had to get new driver's license because of that Real ID Act. So she's saying that you also need to update your voter's registration to make sure that, when it's time to vote, you can vote. We're telling you this. We are telling you this a whole year in advance. So there's no excuse. And I'm gonna really make it my business, even if I just come on for 10-15 minutes every week, to say that, to remind folks of how important it is to register to vote. And I'm sure I'm gonna probably convince some people on the other side to go ahead and register too. But hopefully their lives is miserable enough right now, just like mine is miserable in so many ways, that they're gonna be like, you know what? This ain't what I want. This ain't what I wanted. This ain't what I bargained for. So I'm going to really vote my interest the next time. Okay. And not for people to get tax cuts that they don't already need, and to get tax break that they don't really need at your own expense. And now people, they're cutting Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, food stamp, free lunch, child care, all that kind of stuff. They're gonna now if you're getting some disability check, you got to find something that you can go do it yourself. Imagine. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all gonna feel all of that, right? And then these folks were so slick that they're gonna make a lot of that come into play in 27 after the midterms, because they knew if they went into effect before that, it will be like that shellacking that Obama took in 2010, that boy rise to the Tea Party and the future MAGA people. That's what was going to happen in 2026. And so they're trying to rig the game right now, and you guys need to pay attention. So I need y'all to register to vote, because y'all, they just gave the super yacht, mega yacht, 10 yacht owning, baby yacht, and the big yacht owners a break at the expense of your Medicaid, your Medicare, your prescription drug medication, and all of this stuff, the child care, education, FEMA. Imagine, they're like, oh, we don't need FEMA no more. And then Texas floods, and ain't nobody there to answer the phone. Ain't no warnings was given out. But, you know, the mega yacht people got their tax break, and then people suffered as a result of this, right? You know, and the people who was like, oh, we don't need no FEMA, now all of a sudden their house flooded and the insurance company don't want to do nothing. And then now they're like, where FEMA at? Okay. All right. So there's enough things that are happening in just 7 months. Believe it or not, it's only been 7 months. Okay, we got a good record in these 7 months that this ain't what y'all trying to have happen. You know, at least, you know, for the next 2 to 4 years. So at least in 26, you have an opportunity to make a difference, to at least put in a Congress, because we can't do too much with the court, but at least you can vote in people into Congress so they could do the job that Congress is supposed to do, right? That so you can at least salvage the Congress and get people in there that could do the job that Congress is supposed to do. Because right about now, they ain't doing nobody work. I don't know who work they're doing. And I've been following this young man out of Texas. His first name is Isaiah. And I don't want to say his last name wrong, right? And he has this thing called Make America More Affordable Again. So he got this thing, Mama, that he's talking about. And that's what we need to do. We need to get people in Congress so they can do stuff that's actually going to benefit the folks that voted for them, right? Because even if they're getting big money donors, Isaiah Martin, thank you, Isaiah Martin. Elijah Manley just told me he's actually running for U.S. Rep. What district is it? Because it keeps changing. Is it 20? It's probably U.S. Rep House District 20, I think is what it is. But he'll put it in the chat and let me know. So he's running for rep, because we have people who are trying to go out there and do this work, and we need to send people. For now, okay, for now. So yeah, congressional, U.S. House Rep, Congressional District 20. He's running for that. That's Elijah Manley. I'm gonna get him on the show, and he'll come talk to us along with, you know, the other candidates if they want to come talk to me too, right? So we have an opportunity to change the Congress, and we at least need to do that, right? So the man can pass all the executive order foolishness that he wants to, but Congress is the one that really makes the laws, and we need people that are there that got a backbone, that's gonna go there and do the work for the people that's actually electing them. Because even if they're getting money from big money donors, those donors are only one vote. It's really the people that have the power to make the changes, right? And that's what we need to focus on. So don't fall for all the lies that they tell and that they told. There's a record that's been made in the last 7 months, and they're showing you that they're not here to do the work, and they should not be able to keep their jobs. Because when you're bad at your job, you don't get to keep it. You get fired, and then you get replaced by somebody who wants to do the work. And that's what we need to do in 26. Even with all the gerrymandering nonsense that they're trying to do, California, go ahead and gerrymander. New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Minnesota, go ahead. Go ahead, change those maps, gerrymander them seats, and secure the fact that in 26 it's going to at least be blue. And I'm not saying just vote for any old Democrat. Vote for a Democrat that's going to go there and do the work of the people. Because clearly the folks that are there right now, they ain't trying to do that. All right. So I'm going to keep this at about 30 minutes. That's where we at right now. Thank you so much for your time. And I will see you guys possibly tomorrow on a full segment immigration show with Christine Saint-Onjul and Dr. Blemire. We're supposed to be here tomorrow. Hopefully we can make it. because life is lifing. But check out, subscribe to the channel on YouTube and check out the videos and tell people that to check out those videos. There's a lot of great information about what options people can do, the importance of consulting with an attorney, because pretty much right now, if you're not a resident or a citizen, you are considered undocumented in the United States. And I'm going to end on telling everybody to please check your voter registration status. Please check your voter registration status, and have a good night. Hey y'all, Sandra Sheffran, host of Racing the Races. Go ahead, please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Racing the Races. Subscribe to our TikTok page, Racing the Races, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, Racing the Races. Go ahead, support the page. I'm tired of getting crazy comments from these white dude trolls that's mad. Like, why y'all mad in the comments now? So come on, y'all, those who are fans of the show, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, comment on the video. Tell us what else you would like to see, instead of me having to read all these trolling comments. But I see it as a compliment because I showed up in their feed and I really don't know who they are. And since they're not challenging the content is good. They want to make personal attacks, but that's okay. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to TikTok. All of it is called Racing the Races, and go ahead and like us on Facebook and Instagram.